Have you ever heard of the F-15SG, also known as the Singapore Strike? This jet sits right between the F-15E Strike Eagle and the new F-15EX. It was rolled out in 2008 and it's based on the F-15E, but with a lot of upgrades. The SG is powered by two General Electric F110-GE-129 engines, but with turkey feather nozzles, which is the same for the EX. They basically look like two F-16 engines sticking out the back of an F-15, and they pretty much are. It features the AN APG-63 V3 AESA radar alongside advanced targeting pods and electronic warfare systems. And of course it can carry a substantial number of munitions like missiles and bombs, things like that. And today I'm excited to share my adventure to capture a couple of these jets. So let me tell you about the location for this one. I had been searching for a spot with a good view of Mount Rainier, high above everything else that had unobstructed 360-degree views. A place where jets could circle around and get as many shots as possible. I was part of an F-35 shoot in 2023 where they were able to come around us 11 times, and I wanted to find a place just like that, but with better views. I found what I'm calling Singapore Point by constantly scanning the mountains and hills around me while I'm hiking or driving. First, I had spotted a different mountaintop that I thought would be perfect for it, but when I went to check it out, I found out that it was on a private lease, a private logging lease. I had seen a couple of other mountaintops that could work really well for this. Once I got back to my computer, I used Google Earth to find them and map out the nearest Forest Service roads to get there. My first attempt going there was actually just to figure out how to get there, and then also how to figure out how to hike from the end of the road up to the top of the mountain, what the easiest route was for that essentially. Getting to Singapore Point took about 45 minutes of driving on Forest Service roads and old logging roads. The initial stretch is really heavily trafficked, so there was a lot of potholes and washboards and everything, but as I got up higher, it smoothed out quite a bit. The final leg of it is a 10-minute hike up a really steep wash to the peak. Now, I didn't catch any jets that day, but I did see a civilian Black Hawk in the distance, which is always pretty cool. But the views were incredible, even more incredible than I could have expected. My second attempt was a lot more promising because I knew that jets would be flying that day. Now, I wasn't in contact with the pilots or anything like that, so I had to kind of keep my fingers crossed that I would actually be able to catch them. I did see a couple of growlers in the distance, and I captured some photos with part of Mount Rainier in the background. They were pretty far away, so they ended up small in the frame. This got me even more excited about this spot. While the jets were really small in the frame, I honestly still thought the photos turned out really cool. They just give you a sense of scale with the tiny jet and Mount Rainier huge in the background. We all know the old adage, third time's a charm. And I'm happy to say that that was the case. Another photographer had let me know about the F-15SGs flying the route that day. Luckily, he was in contact with them, so we collaborated and I gave him two coordinates to pass along. One for the point that they should aim for and one for my position. Using Google Earth, I angled the camera to a view that they would see as they were approaching, and then I drew the route onto it and gave them instructions on how to position the aircraft so I could see the cockpit. I typically do this so I can get clear images of the pilots. For this shoot and so many others like it, I kept the gear pretty simple. I had my Nikon Z7 and my trusty 200 to 500mm lens. And it's perfect because when I got up there, the views were just incredible. So I wasn't just there capturing photos of jets. I was able to get some incredible shots of Mount Rainier and the peaks around the Alpine Lakes wilderness and everything like that. I could see down all the valleys around me, which is really helpful for low-level shoots because you can see the jets coming from a long ways away and it gives you time to prepare. And that leads me to when the jets were approaching. The first jet was low in the valley following the route that I gave him, but instead of making the turns, it disappeared behind the ridge in front of me. And I'm saying to myself, where the heck did he go? And that's why you can see the camera kind of moving around in this shot. Then boom, popped up with the afterburners lit, going nearly vertical. This gave me some serious Top Gun Maverick vibes. And seeing this in person is hard to describe, but man, it's cool. The second jet showed up about 45 seconds later and followed my instructions more closely, but they were further away. I was still really happy with the photos that I got because of the compression, bringing the hills in the background closer to the jet. They might not have had the afterburners lit, but it was almost beautiful the way they smoothly navigated the valleys. They just kind of flowed right through them. The unexpected maneuver of the pilot just blasting to the moon was so freaking cool. These are the moments that get my adrenaline going. That's why I love shooting jets, especially low level. I've always thrived on adrenaline, and so many types of photography don't have that in it, and so they're just a little bit boring to me. And I'm not trying to say anything negative about that. There are so many amazing photographers out there that do the things that I can't do, or I don't really enjoy doing, I should say. And I don't mean any disrespect by that. I just love how this type of content brings together so many things that I love: jets, mountains, and adrenaline. Here are some of my favorite shots from the day. The ones of the first jet going vertical with the afterburners lit are some of my favorite F-15 photos that I've ever captured. If you want to get your hands on these photos, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can purchase prints or digital downloads. This adventure was incredibly fulfilling. It combines my love for excitement and adrenaline with my passion for photography. Spending time in the mountains and pushing myself to capture better and better content and become a better content creator is why I do this. I'd love to hear about any adventures that you've been on recently. Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate the like and subscribe. And as always, keep your eye on the sky and your mind skeptical. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.